Hello and welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neal Howard. Thank you so much for joining us again today. Our guest in studio today is Dr. Mark and Dr. Michele Sherwood. Both of them are naturopathic specialists in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they've got a brand new book out called The Quest for Wellness, a practical and personal wellness plan for optimum health in your body, mind, emotions, and spirit. Mark, welcome to Health Professional Radio.
Thank you, Neal, for having us. We really appreciate it. And just to FYI, my wife is also an osteopathic doctor, so she's got more initials after her name than we have in our last name total.
I hear you, man. Now, Dr. Mark Sherwood and your wife, also a practitioner, Dr. Michele Neil-Sherwood, you've got a practice there in Tulsa. You've written this book. Being naturopaths, both of you, and your wife, as you say, an osteopathic specialist. First of all, let's get into how you started the Functional Medical Institute there in Tulsa.
Well, my wife, approximately 5 years ago, took a big risk and gamble to step out of the traditional medical model practice and stepped out into the world of entrepreneurship as a doctor. And to step out of a big system like that took some serious guts. And she did that because all of us, we have a passion for helping people and seeing people get well, as opposed to seeing people just managed in the state of their conditions or disease. We want to provide a place of true healing to a person's entire body and being. And so that prompted her to step out, and I got the privilege to join her a couple of years ago. And so now we have what we believe is a wonderful team approach practice, and I get to work with my best friend every day and my beautiful wife as well.
So you don't have a job at all, do you?
No, I don't have a job at all. It's all fun and games when you're in your love like that.
Yeah. I heard you mention a couple of words there. I heard you mention a place of total healing. And before that statement, you mentioned not wanting to see folks managing whatever is ailing them. Talk about the Functional Medical Institute as a place of whole healing, as opposed to, managing your symptoms. I mean, you get a prescription, you're supposed to be well in a few days, or, theoretically. Yes. Isn't that healing?
Well, I think the misconception that we have as a world is this, that we believe that when we take a pill, that is actually a cure for our ill. And really, medications are not designed to cure anything. Now, I'll put a caveat on that. If someone is a type 1 diabetic, obviously they're going to need insulin because the pancreas is not born in a functional manner. Okay. But most of the time when people take a pill, it is absolutely trying to stymie, stop, or delay a symptom of something. It's not designed to stop it. So the functional approach is really going backwards behind there and finding out what caused the initial condition that produced the symptom in the first place. And if you can find out the cause from the root of it, it actually gives you the ability to provide true healing, as opposed to the traditional idea of healing that's not. It's in the form of disease management.
So basically, you're wanting your patients to not have to come back.
Correct. There is not a patient that comes into us that we don't make the following statement. We want to work ourselves out of a job. And what we mean by that is this. We understand the need, and my wife's a brilliant medical doctor, but we understand the need that there are things that come up from time to time, and certainly we want people to come back for their annual well checks and the blood work, etc. But what we don't want to have is people that are coming back chronically, getting sick frequently, for what we believe are conditions that can be corrected. And when that happens, we work with them a lot for months, but once we get that thing or those things corrected, they don't come back as often, and they're happier. And we find that that's a better way to conduct what we believe is our call in life, is to provide healing, and we are agents of healing in people's lives.
Now, your new book, you and your wife wrote the book together. Now, the title it's almost like Christmas Day, the time, a
Yes,
practical and
right.
personal wellness plan for optimum health in your body, your mind, your emotions, and your spirit. Now, we were talking about taking a pill. There seems to be a pill for every one of those things that is mentioned in the title of your new book, A Quest for Wellness. How are we supposed to have health or healing in all of these aspects?
Well, that's a great question, and really the idea that we want to convey is that this book does a different approach to all those four areas. Most people want to separate those areas. For example, we know there are gyms on every corner. We know there are, for the physical piece, we know there's a church on about every corner. For the spiritual piece, for the emotional piece, there's a counselor on every corner. And for the intellectual piece, there's a school literally on every corner or online. We really have segregated those four areas. And in fact, they really are all connected. And we show you through this book how they're connected and how you can begin to get well in all those four areas at one time. For example, if someone wants to spend just a few minutes and we show you how to do this, whether it be 3, 4, or 5 minutes in all those sections at the same time in a day, you get growth and you get development and you get advancement and progression in those four areas at the same time every day. And you see yourself getting better at the same time, all totaled in all those areas, as opposed to just trying to do one for a while and do the other, which really does not provide any sort of benefit at all because they're all interconnected and interwoven. They really are inseparable. We use the example of a four-legged chair, where I'm sitting in a chair right now with four legs. Someone could come away and rip one leg out, and let's say that's the physical piece that we are neglecting. The other three are going to stand there. I might be able to keep my balance for a while, and I may not. I may fall. But eventually I will, because those other three legs or those other three parts of our body are holding more weight than they should have. They're holding an overload, and they should be more balanced. So in reality, if we take this balanced approach to our life and really get ourselves well physically, emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually, that equation, those four things equal to true, complete wellness.
Now, I understand your wife's background. She's certified and trained through Synergenics, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Her life has been in the medical profession. Okay. You,
yes.
On the other hand, you have a varied background. Do you feel that your experience in other areas than healthcare have given you a more rounded outlook when it comes to dealing with a patient? Not trying to take away from the medical aspect that your wife is versed in, but with someone with such a varied background, a veteran of the police department, a motivational speaker, an evangelist, ex-pro baseball player. You've rubbed shoulders with all different types of people, and you're doing so now in helping them. How much of that experience helps you out on your daily routine?
Well, it's life. I mean, I go back to the police department days. You see people that are maybe the best people and people that are maybe the worst people having a bad day. We know everybody's capable of having a bad day, and having a bad day or even having bad times in life really influences our physical health. And I've learned through those experiences in life to transfer that into a true helping ministry, and that's really what it is with us. We really embrace this as our call in life, and certainly with all of my varied experience, as well as my wife's experience, even in her physique building and martial arts, prior to medical school, etc. I mean, we really are fortunate and blessed to have had experiences in those areas, because now we're able to relate. We're not looking at something through a microscope. We're looking at something from more or less a telescope looking into space. We're seeing things from a broader perspective as opposed to just zoning in on an algorithm that says if you have this, then you take this. If you take this and don't have results, then you take this. It's a much different perspective, and I think it allows that true patient-physician relationship that people are hungry for. And we have seen that because people come back to us, and our business is based upon success stories and referrals. Absolutely. And that's why people love the book, because it provides results and it provides testimonials, and we want people to talk about their successes. So I do think it matters, yes.
And that's why I asked about your background, because, chapter 1, the opening chapter is, why you're confident that you can help me, the reader, when I get your book. And, there are a lot of books that are self-help, take this diet, do this exercise. And we kind of get, I guess, desensitized when someone has a passion for what they're doing, and you're wondering, where did that passion come from? And I wanted our listeners to understand why you're so confident in the results of your practice and of this book, this brand new book. Let our listeners know where they can get a copy.
Yeah, it's available through Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and the person won't be disappointed. It's simple, practical ways that wherever you are in life, there's something for you. And again, Neal, I am, and my wife, we are 100% certain we can help persons because we believe in people and we have a passion to help people. And I want to see people get well. It's a simple concept, simple principles. But if you put the simple principles into practice, just like learning how to hit a baseball or throw a football, you go back to those foundational principles and you always get results.
Right. You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neal Howard. We've been in studio this afternoon with Dr. Mark Sherwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and also the co-founder and co-CEO of the Functional Medical Institute, also located in Tulsa, Oklahoma, founded it with his wife, another medical practitioner, Dr. Michele Sherwood. And he's been in studio with us discussing the brand new book that they wrote together, The Quest for Wellness, a practical and personal wellness plan for optimum health in your body, mind, emotions, and spirit. Now, Dr. Mark is an ex-professional baseball player, motivational speaker, evangelist, and his presentations, he and his wife, are sought nationwide. And it's been great having you here with us today, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Neal, for having me. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Transcripts and audio of this program are available at healthprofessionalradio.com.au and also at hpr.fm. And you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes.